A big win for the president in his showdown with Senator Elizabeth Warren and an Obama administration appointee over a controversial federal agency and who's really in charge of it. Late this afternoon, Judge Timothy Kelly said President Trump is the one who gets to decide who's actually running this agency. But it's clear this fight is far from over. Former DOJ official Tom Dupree joins us now to break it down. Good to see you today.
Good to see you, Shannon.
All right, so we were talking about this last night. Who gets to decide? The guy who left, essentially, and he was controversial. Republicans and conservatives, for the most part, do not like this agency. Mick Mulvaney, who the president tapped to run it, says he wishes it didn't even exist.
Yes.
And now he's running. And today the judge says, you're right, the president gets to decide, and Mick Mulvaney's in charge.
Yes, and it doesn't surprise me that that's the decision the judge reached here. I mean, if you look at it, there are two conflicting laws here, or competing laws, I should say, and the judge simply said, I think the one that the administration is relying on is the one that really governs here. And for that reason, President Trump has the right to appoint the director of his own federal agency.
Okay, so this is what Leandra English, she is was the deputy director, tapped to be the acting director by the outgoing director. She filed a lawsuit Sunday night saying, I'm the rightful person to run this agency. Here's what her attorney said about where this fight goes now.
So what we want is a quick, speedy resolution of this controversy that can get up through the court system, can be appealed, because this court, I think this court understands, is not the final word on who is the director of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau.
The appellate level next, and then ultimately the Supreme Court. Where do you think this thing goes?
Well, I think it certainly will go up to the Court of Appeals. Now, if I were her lawyer, I don't know as a matter of litigation strategy if I would have told the trial judge, you don't matter because
Right.
we're going to the Court of Appeals. But it is true. He'll probably litigate it up to the Court of Appeals. He may try to get it into the Supreme Court, but I tend to doubt the Supreme Court's going to want to get anywhere near this case.
Okay, so on another front, we have the special counsel, Mueller's team, now talking with Michael Flynn's legal team, and apparently they're cutting off communications, at least strategizing with the White House team. People say that's to be expected, especially if they're working on some kind of plea deal or something else. Doesn't surprise you?
It doesn't surprise me, Shannon. I think that this is something that a lot of people expected would happen sooner or later. The fact that Flynn's people might be talking with Mueller or even entering plea negotiations with Mueller shouldn't shock anyone. And look, at the end of the day, even if Flynn does cooperate with Mueller, I think the big question here is, does Flynn have some sort of evidence that's going to inculpate the president? Because if the president and the campaign officials are all innocent of any collusion, then they have nothing to fear. And the fact that Flynn is cooperating doesn't matter at the end of the day.
All right. Well, I quickly want to read you. There's been a lawsuit filed trying to get rid of Special Counsel Mueller, overseeing this by Larry Klayman and Freedom Watch, a conservative group. He says Mr. Mueller and his team suffer from numerous conflicts of interest that not only mandate their removal, but also explain why the leaks are being disseminated to the media on a daily basis. Does the lawsuit go anywhere? Well,
I would have to say probably not. I mean, look, no one should be leaking grand jury material. I mean, that's very, very important. The line you can never cross. That said, I don't know if filing a lawsuit to try to get Mueller removed on that ground has a lot of legs. My guess is it might get some press attention and certainly will cause people to talk. But at the end of the day, I'd be surprised if a federal judge throws Mueller off of this case.
I think you're right, but we'll keep an eye on it. Tom Dupree, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, Shannon.
Good to see you.